Hello, welcome back. Streaming some more Book of Hours. Sleepy Sam Cam up. And we're live on YouTube and Twitch. Trying to figure out how to get a combined chat going in my OBS, but I'm still having some trouble with that, but it's fine. Anyway, let's hop back in. Alright. It's night. Trying to remember exactly where we're at. We got a memory hindsight coming with us overnight. That's right. At the end of last one, I kind of messed up on the barber's assistance, grabbing that by accident. That's okay. The other thing we got going on, we've got our core, which is still maladied. I might actually go ahead and try to push room unlocks to try to get that resolved over the next couple of in-game days. And then that end, we kind of need to find a skill that has the moth aspect. I'm not sure if any of these do. Actually, resurgences and emergences might. Let's refer to my notes on it real quick. Yeah, resurgences and emergences does. So if we can read skeleton songs, get there. Requires 4 grail, so we would just need... We have a grail tool right now. Yeah, the knife gives 1 grail. With the core, we just need a 2 grail memory. Okay. Sunny day. Not quite sure what I want to use that for. Let's go ahead and bring in Mrs. Kill. Speak with Mrs. Kill. Mrs. Kill's mood always improves when I drop by. Mrs. Kill stands ready to help. You always cheer me up, she says morosely. With this winter memory, I suppose we can go Grand Ascent 2nd floor. My plan here is to look for a 2 grail memory off of chatting. Also go ahead and bring Mr. Kill in, and we'll refresh the core. Resting refreshments, tuppence will buy me a hearty meal in a quiet place where I can rest and gather my thoughts. It is summer. I am sitting on the bench outside the Sweet Bones, eating crumbly cheese and nettle wrappings and good black rye bread, soaking up the sun. And let's see. This is kind of the last day of summer, and so I think the barber we kind of determined not super useful, or at least I wasn't able to make use of it when I had accidentally hired it at the end of the last session. So my plan here with Mrs. Kill is we'll use her to get the weed-choked garden, possibly just as a backup option if we're not able to generate the memory we need for the book. As an extra element here. I don't think I'm gonna need my health for anything. We have that as well. It's down to cataloging books or opening some of these packages. Let's go ahead and open one of these. A slim parcel, carefully wrapped in brown paper. Something especially tasty. Crack open the container, delight in your discovery. Another thing that we can do is we can refresh this whist next and craft some ink, although 2, 4. Okay, yeah, we don't need the whist to help Mr. Kill get the 5 winter. So we'll go ahead and refresh this. Another solace. Let's go ahead and actually exalt Mr. Kill with a memory. Started just because our time might be a little compressed towards the end of the day. And actually, we don't need this core. We can just give her memory solace. It's the weed-choked garden. I will go ahead and give Mr. Kill a bronze knife. That should be the 5 that we need. Sent to 2nd floor. Got a bottle of Roscragen whiskey, the favorite tipple of Sir David Green, 8th librarian of Hush House. It's in the kitchen for now. Lighter on funds than I would like, so I think I'll use the core for manual labor. ahead and get Mr. Kill right to work on the Grand Ascent second floor. It is unexpectedly difficult to raise my foot to the last step before the landing. Leaf shadows drift across my sight, and the windows hiss and rattle. I have heard that Gervinus Van Loren, last librarian before me, was skilled at the forbidding of ways. So that's worth noting. Gervinus Van Loren is the librarian before me. Once we find his bust, we can put it in its proper place somewhere up here. Go ahead and talk to Mrs. Kill some more. Let's go ahead and give her the memory right away. That way if we generate an extra solace, we might be able to make use of it or carry it overnight. And I think I do want to go ahead and craft a Yugal ink. And we'll plan on sending an invitation to Father John tomorrow. And then we can... he has one more language he can teach us. I can't remember if Serena teaches a language. We need 3 forge to bring her in. That might be a little difficult currently. Let's see if I have notes on her. She teaches Fusine, which is the other language that Father John can teach us, so no need to bring her in anytime soon. Possibly for a salon sometime in the future. And then go ahead and get back to memory generation here. The ones that we have access to are both winter primary. And trying to think, there's smaller memories that you can generate from some of the objects around the house. Like scent, touch, sight. What we're really looking for here is like a satisfaction. A beguiling melody would also do it, but I don't think we have access to one of those. I think Sky Stories was a wistful air. So, is there anything we can do with this sunny weather? Blue sky to lantern. I don't think so. Seen anything? Okay, Grand Ascent, second floor. By long tradition, each Baron Grand each Baron Brandkrug had their image set in a niche in the Grand Ascent. Later, the Curia of the Isle continued the tradition for their librarians. So we got a vase of lilies, and then spots for the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th librarians. Trying to think, did we learn anything? We know Sir David Green, off of the description of the model of Roscragen whiskey, is the 8th, but we have not encountered his bust yet. We do have seen the bust of Solomon Husher, and we know he's the 3rd librarian, so we can put that in its proper place. Walter de Wolf, I don't know if we have seen where that one goes yet. One thing we can always do with that is we can consider it, though that would use an element of the soul to do so. So let's hold off on that for now. What did I just say? He's the 3rd librarian? Go right here. A 3rd librarian of the Curia of the Isle. A niche with a plaque, whereof we cannot speak, thereof we must remain silent. Oh, and then we now have abandoned bedroom. Continuing up the ascent. And we have the infirmary. Actually, since the infirmary is just 4 heart, we can give Mrs. Kill the kitchen bowls and get into that. Okay, we now have another Ugol ink, and what was I thinking about just now? Oh, I wanted to check the aspects on the bed. So we do end up generating a satisfaction. It's 2 grail, 1 heart, so we could rest on it if we need to. So we'll continue talking to Mrs. Kill. Well, in the next cycle, I'll give her the cake bowls, and then we'll talk to her until the very end of the day, and then we'll use her help to get the infirmary. not a memory storm. Let's give her some cake bowls to work with. And let's catalog a book with the Tryst. We'll keep doing these baronial period books for now. And we'll hold the core for a second. If we do generate a satisfaction, I would probably just go ahead and start reading the skeleton songs. We would have our, go into the next day with our core exhausted, but that would be fine. We got an introduction to histories for winter, should be very doable. Snow stories. Can't remember the secondary aspect on that one off the top of my head. Memory gossip, that's close. If we had like an Arab, we would have the Four Grail there. Yeah, we'll talk with her one more time. Double checking. We have one. Two. So what, yeah, so that would only be 3. Yeah, we really need a satisfaction. Or like rain or something would do it, probably, I think. There's another solace. Okay. At this point, let's just go ahead and get the infirmary unlocked. Careless visitors have tracked in mud through the door, and the windows have been open to the elements for years. That means I will or to catalog another book, and we'll save. We'll save the memory regret overnight and bring Mr. Kill back in and keep going up the Grand Ascent tomorrow. The smoking room, we can get help from probably either Denzel or Reverend Timothy. That one should be pretty easy. That would have been actually a good use of the sunny weather today. Got an on perfections, 10 knock, but would be a little difficult. We know we're gonna... Okay, yeah, let's bring in Mr. Gill. Okay, we did get another sunny weather, and that is the changing of the seasons as well. So we're gonna pull another visitor. Let's go ahead and give Mr. Kill the kitchen knife again right away. And I think I need my list to be able to bring in the Reverend. Let's just work this out real quick. So the Reverend is it 2 and 2? 2 knock, 2 lantern? No, it's 2 lantern, 1 knock. Okay, so 2 lantern, 4 with the sunny weather, and then 1 from a tool. Yeah, so let's go ahead and refresh the list. I think we'll be able to do this. And then we'll read this here. Rest and refreshment in autumn. It is autumn when the leaves rustle. The silent landlady has served me apple pie with steamed cream in the window nook. We have an advertisement from Catering Hero. The firm Catering Hero, alive to the possibility of commerce, has sent a smudgily printed catalog addressed to the librarian. We have an order form for Catering Hero. Catering Hero has offices almost everywhere. Not in this misty limb of the kingdom, but they will at least deliver here. So we can use this to order like cooking supplies, essentially, and some other potential miscellaneous odds and ends. We get copper wire, glue, ham, coffee, a couple of different types. We can get some paper, some oils. I don't remember exactly what those are useful for. We can get some teas, and then some staples for cooking: sugar, butter, potatoes, milk, flour, and dripping. So that's good. We don't have a lot of money to mess with right now, but might plan for a salon a little bit later on. We'll have to see what kind of visitors we get and how easy they are to invite. And there's our memory of regret. I also do want to get down into the well at some point. And thinking on that, it's 7 moon, 7 nectar. So how would we get there? Right now, the could do it with potentially some unusual help, which costs a little bit more. Currently in autumn, can hire an orchard keeper, a 2 nectar, free from health, 4, 5 from tool. So you can either do it with rain for the 2 nectar, or potentially if we get an impulse is 1 nectar, and then you can give a drink for another, I think that's 7. So keep an eye out for that. Oh yeah, I should read the infirmary. In the 15th century, Natan of Regensburg came to Brankrog. The brothers of St. Brandon's granted sanctuary, but they would not permit a Jew and his family to live on abbey grounds. Still, they built the tower for him to dwell in and practice his healing arts. It has changed greatly since that time, but a place of healing it remains. There's some paintings in here. The Witch and Sister. The Witch and Sister unites what is at rest. She is sought at the water's edge and beneath the moon. She cannot be separated. She cannot be touched. She is coral, amber, and pearl. The Thunderskin. He cannot be stilled. He demands the dance. He is beaten like a drum. He is heard in the wood below the world. The Velvet. The glory is a question, and the moth always answers yes. The velvet's answer is no, and that is always her answer. And then we have the Sister and Witch. The Sister and Witch brings together what cannot be apart. She is sought beneath the moon and at the water's edge. She is pearl, amber, coral. She cannot be touched. She cannot be separated. We have Musgrave de Wolf. Don't recall if we have any hints about where he goes yet. We have some Mist-Kissed Water, which is nice. 2 moon, 2 knock, and then a winter and heart aspect, but we have a Pale Mommet, a gently twitching little clock doll with melancholy button eyes and a frill of colored ribbons. So this is a tool, it's a device, so it can only be used once. But it has 4 grail, 2 moth, 2 heart aspect, and it is woven. I can't remember. I don't think we can give that to someone like Mrs. Kill. I think she takes fabric. I'm just comparing it to something like this. Oh no, I think... Yeah, because I think we can give her the linen. Maybe not. Maybe it's just stuff like this. This is fabric and fiber. Anyway, continuing on, we got some TRN drinking cocoa. TRN's Spices and Savors department markets this as the secret sacrament of the last Inca. It's a 2 grail, 1 heart. Restorative. And got a couple, there's 4 uses of that. And then we have some serpent milk. It does look almost like milk, and it is drinkable, but don't give it to cats or babies. A 6 edge, 3 scale, 2 knock drink. And we have some Ruby Wise Rune. A ruddy liquor wrung from flowers, even when the flowers aren't red. That's a 4 grail, and then quite a few other aspects. Drink. A vase of lilies, some more towels, and we have a guest bed infirmary. Clean white sheets and the unmistakable military ping of a steel bed frame. It's a nectar and edge bed. Then we have a wicker chair, elderly but robust. Also have a watchful potted plant. Not everything needs eyes. And a pale stool, bleached beech. And then we have a gloomy room and a neglected room. Both of these should be fairly easy to get to with Mrs. Kill. Just any heart memory, plus tool, plus double core. So we'll see what the visitor is going to need in terms of which books they need access to. We have Mr. Zachary Wakefield en route. Marksman, detective, renegade. He has always been a quiet man, but since he left the Suppression Bureau, he has grown even quieter and terribly still, except for his fingers and for his eyes, always in restless motion. So, Knock and Winter is what he's interested in. Understands Fusine and Kilisimi, so that'll be useful. And so it'll likely be Winter that he's going to ask for in regards to the affair of the Open Reverend. And we should have that covered easily. I've got a couple Winter books here. Our whist restored. I think we're still going to try to bring back or bring in Reverend Timothy here. Make use of the sunny weather to give him a donation, because we get 6 minutes on Wakefield, so. And we do have Mr. Kill here at 5, which will get us the Grand Ascent 3rd floor. Might as well generate a memory though. Cass, hello. Tell me if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Welcome in. How are you? Okay, we got Rector's assistants. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and restore the whist. We might want to use that to read one of our books. I'm doing pretty well. Um, this is my. I want to. It's like my uh, second-ish playthrough of Book of Hours. I have played it a couple times in the past, and then I've been interested in picking it back up with the demo for Traveling at Night having come out recently. I was interested in diving back into some more Secret Histories stuff and seeing if I pick up any interesting lore tidbits after having played the Traveling at Night demo. You familiar with these games? Yeah, the demo was awesome. Can't wait. Yeah, it was quite playing for me. It was a little eye-opening just to the kind of scope that they're trying to achieve there. It looks like Traveling at Night will be much more open with the lore. Yeah, the footnote system there too is really interesting. It's like anything that you're curious about knowing, you can kind of drill down into and get sort of a definitive or more definitive kind of answer about some of the things that were a little bit more obscure or stuff that you had to kind of infer or piece together in the previous two games. We've got a memory, stolen secret. Okay. Let's go ahead and start talking to Reverend Timothy. Give him talk about the weather. More useful than one might expect, especially in Britain. Exactly, it took me ages to understand that an hour is not an hour and a name is not a name, etc. Yeah. I definitely I feel that I had a similar experience going through Cultist Simulator and Book of Hours to some extent. Evie, Hank, welcome in. Hello, I was just lurking for a bit. I don't know how I feel about the tutorial stuff and explanations of Traveling at Night. It kind of breaks the whole esoteric part. Yeah, I do agree. I think there's a bit of maybe a trade-off in terms of losing some of the feeling that you're actually diving into like occult knowledge and that sort of thing, and some of the mystery does go away. I do feel like it's nice for the people who want to know, like, for sure what is the definition of a given thing. I guess that is a good point too. Getting XP for reading it feels off. Love the Traveling at Night demo as a whole, though. I don't know necessarily how I feel about it being tied to experience that you can gain too, because for the people who do like kind of putting together the knowledge for themselves, or kind of coming up with their own theories on things, it does kind of gamifying it in that way does take away a bit, because otherwise you could theoretically just kind of ignore the footnotes, but tying them to a gameplay aspect does definitely kind of take away from that. Let's see. Realize it's set in a future where the occult is pretty much in the open. I'm sure there will be a ton of hidden lore to discover. Yeah, that's true. 255 will come in. Leave that in that aspect. There will most likely be deeper secrets only people with experience will find or know. Yeah, that's true too. There's always going to be more than what you're getting in just the footnotes. It's going to come through. I would have, you have to imagine that like you're going to be learning stuff through conversations that other people are not necessarily seeing too, just because it is like a CRPG, so everyone's gonna kind of go down like their own path in the game. So that's gonna be fun once the full game releases, I think. Knowing AK, there will definitely be a huge amount of hidden lore to discover. Yeah, I definitely believe that too. Let's see. So we're talking to Reverend Timothy. We'll use Mr. Kill here to continue up the Grand Ascent. Frost crackles on the window panes as I ascend, and the light strikes at my eyes like knives. Another of Van Loren's forbiddings. And thinking about kind of some of the lore stuff, one of the things that I do like about this game and Cultist Simulator, one of the things that it does is it gives you a piece of lore that you might only read once in a playthrough, or that you only can read once in a playthrough, so it kind of rewards either scrupulous note-taking or good memorization of like things that you've read in the past. So for example, here you get descriptions of the rooms as you're unlocking them that you don't before you've actually unlocked them, that are different from the descriptions of the rooms once you have unlocked them, but you only get to read these pre-unlocked descriptions one time. And likewise in Cultist Simulator, when you're studying a book, you only get to read that book the once and then it's gone. I do like in Book of Hours that you get to reread the books, which is nice. But I do like that it kept some element of like, okay, here's a piece of text that you're only going to see one time. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of that kind of stuff in Traveling at Night, just by way of the game being what it is, where you're mostly walking around having conversations with people or interacting with stuff. You may only see a line of dialogue like one time in the course of a playthrough, so it similarly lends itself to that feeling of like, if I'm really paying attention, I can connect dots between stuff that had happened like way earlier in the playthrough, or like in another playthrough where you went down a different path. Yes, that can really make something like that shine in a CRPG. Or they can really make something shine like that. Yeah. So I think I'm going to get Reverend Timothy's assistants to open the smoking room, and then I'll help Wakefield with his request. We'll give Reverend Timothy the mirror scope. Hello, bueno. Off the bat, there's a big mystery about the hours being uncounted. I feel like there's going to be a huge event to uncover, like the... what's that word? Intercalate? I don't know what that is. But yeah, obviously, like, the being pushed some number of years into the future and starting out with this, the hours being uncounted, there's obviously a big mystery to solve there. Okay, I think I'm just probably going to work with my core, and I think we're gonna read one of these 2 winter books if we can. We'll go ahead and read On the White, I think. Let's see. On the White, Solomon Husher writes perhaps allegorically of winter and its long, slow, doomed romance with the sun. The epigraph is sunset at noon. These are whist, putrefactions, and calcinations, and it's the bronze knife. Doing with this stolen secret. Not sure yet. It is something we can carry over. Maybe use it to get the abandoned bedroom. Although, 2 moon, I don't know that we have a follower that has 2 moon. Or a villager. No, we don't. Could use some consumables for that, maybe. Alright, so that is the Grand Ascent, 3rd floor. Same description as the other portions of the Grand Ascent. By a long tradition, each Baron Brandkrug had their image set in a niche in the Grand Ascent. Later, the Curia of the Isle continued the tradition for their librarians. Used intercalate because it's specific, kind of non-spoilery if you don't know what it is. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't recall off the top of my head. Is that something from mentioned or referenced in this game, or is it something from Cultist Simulator? Next we have the Shadowed Atrium, or the Despoiled Laboratory. I am a little tempted to switch and go to the Shadowed Atrium over the Smoking Room. I know there's a bunch of books in here, but... and some shelves, which would be nice, but I'm kind of wanting to go up and get access to a nature desk, or a nectar desk. Referenced in both games. Okay. Yeah, I just don't recall. Like I said, I've done 1 playthrough-ish of Book of Hours. I say ish, I haven't quite finished. my previous playthrough, and then like once when it I think originally came out, I did play for a little bit, but didn't get nearly that far. Like didn't unlock most of the house, etc. But in my last playthrough, I did get decently far. I just didn't quite get around to recording a history. And then Cultist Simulator, I only recently went back to. So I just finished like my first ascension in that game, essentially. There was a rite called Interclit in Cultist Simulator. Okay, gotcha. Cool. Yeah, I definitely want to do like at least a few more runs through that game now that I have like a better grasp on the mechanics. I just haven't quite gotten around to it yet. This was only like very recently that I finished my first run through, or my first like victory, I guess you would say. Okay, we got the rector's assistants. It doesn't really matter which. I do kind of want to keep going up in the house though, so get the rector's assistants with the shadowed atrium. It says long been a holy place, but in the absence of prayers, other influences have crept in. I'll need help to purify it step by step. Yes, it was hard to get, and its description was important. Okay, cool. I'll have to keep an eye out for that when I continue my playthroughs of Cultist Simulator. So I think I'm playing I just finished, so the run that I just finished in that one was an enlightenment victory, and so I'm doing the I just started the run that follows from that. The I forget the name of it. Sorry. Okay. That. And then I guess we can talk to Wakefield now. Okay. Already read his descriptions. He says, "Librarian, I can see you." Talk with him about the affair of the opened reverend. In a highly specialized clinic in an obscure corner of the capital, specialists study the ecstatic agonies of the case known only as the open reverend, who once was the vicar of the parish of St. Agnes, 4th Street. The blessings of St. Agnes of the Fires and St. Agnes of the Shears are ungentle, but St. Agnes of the Threshold may be her cruelest aspect. And we've already helped Father Stanislav here. Father Schaller, who had once been a friend of the Open Reverend, felt that he had learned enough to give him what he might want. And we'll now be helping Wakefield. If only one was chosen to be opened, why would one wish to be closed? Or if one has chosen to be opened, why would one wish to be closed? If you think about Book of Hours, it's a lot more generous about the lore than Cultist Simulator. The mansion is full of lore about characters, groups, cults, which in turn reveal a lot about the world. But it also opens so many new mysteries as well. Yeah, I feel like comparing Book of Hours and Cultist Simulator, just in terms of what I enjoy personally, I do think I get a little bit more enjoyment out of Book of Hours. The pacing being a little bit more relaxed, no like hard failure condition, and just kind of take your time to explore this neat place with all these neat little things in it, solve these neat little puzzles. Although now that now that I've actually finished a victory in Cultist Simulator, I do feel better about it, and I am interested to go back and do some more playthroughs of that. Now that I have a little bit of a better understanding of the mechanics and stuff. I had bounced off of it a number of times in the past just because I kept losing to things that I didn't know how to resolve. Hours definitely relaxing, the opposite of Cultist Simulator. The devs said that in Cultist Simulator, time was your enemy. In Book of Hours, it's your friend. Yeah, that's nice. I like that description of it. So Wakefield on the Open Reverend, the priest has received the grace of gates. I will learn here what may pass through that gate. Give him an introduction to histories. The priest will only open outwards, a disappointing mode, but at least his suffering need not be drawn out any longer. I go to the dentist, catch you later. Alright, I guess enjoy the dentist, if such a thing is possible, and thanks for watching and for chatting. I appreciate that. A good one. Manual labor, as they used to say in my youth, the day is done, and so am I, but I've earned my pay. You dentist today too. Not my favorite thing. In fact, it's been quite a while since I've been to the dentist, and I know I should go back, but I have a hard time with that. And it will most certainly become a problem in my future. As the day is drawing closer to a close, let's go ahead and use up some of our other elements. We'll catalog another book. And with our health, I suppose we can also catalog a book here. I do have a couple of small fillings from like a long time ago. Most of the problems have been with teeth with fillings breaking. Yeah. A bit concerning. Yeah, I just have a couple small ones in like my back molars. And they seem to be okay. But I don't know. I mean, they're okay till they're not, right? Okay. Got Zachary's card and another bronze Spintria. Hold on to the card for a bit. See if we can find a use for this occult scrap, and then we'll record his address. scrap might be useful for helping us cure our maladied core. Okay, we got De Horace Book 2. 4 Edge book. And we've got the Carbonic Schism, written in Savazine, 6 Moth. Not sure we're super close to either of those right now. Don't have any elements that give edge. Alright, again, on the white. Solomon Husher writes, perhaps allegorically, of winter and its long, slow, doomed romance with the sun. The epigraph is sunset at noon. On closer inspection, the work seems to be a theory of aesthetics, or perhaps a set of warnings about the dangers of painting. Husher writes distractedly about his suspicion of colors and his yearning for death. He hints at a great work he has envisaged or begun, where the palest of paintings will enthrall the world. He returns again and again to certain compelling phrases, which he claims are the secret words of winter. Okay. So we got a lesson for quenchings and quellings. Go ahead and learn that one. And let's see. I think that's about it. We got the atrium unlocked. In 1651, Musgrave Dwulf endowed the atrium with a shrine to Saint Genarius of the Gate. Musgrave was a pious man, but also a Puritan, so this grand shrine was a little unusual. Saint Genarius is also an unusual choice, but he is the patron saint of boundaries, and the Dwulfs were often said, in some sense, to be marcher lords charged with the keeping of boundaries. Saint Genarius is the name which was wounded, the name of exceptions, the little god at the door. An atrium chair reserved for latecomers, non-believers, and the pensive. Aglophotis scented candle. Which gives 2 heart, 2 knock, 2 lantern, 2 rose. That could be potentially useful. And some watchful candles. We've got the gloomy stare. Should be fairly easy with Mr. Kill. We can either use and recover the Whist, and then a memory makes 6, or we can use Tool plus glass of water. So I want to go for that. I want to go for the neglected room as well. I think I could kind of do both of those tomorrow, or maybe we just go. I mean, I guess we have the memory already, so we might as well make use of it. do still want to bring in other dollar for the scene lesson as well, though. Right, that is quenchings and quellings. Arts which quench fires and bring solace to the troubled mind. True adept is never troubled by fire, nor by fever, nor by restless spirit. Ambrose Westcott. Preservation and hushery, and then it can be used against bioplasmic contamination. Okay, let's see. I'll take the memory of regret overnight. And let's see. So we'll do. I guess we'll go for the gloomy stare tomorrow, and then I think use an element for this. Yes, I think I do. We can do this with the bloodied core. No, because we need to use our health for it. Okay. And yeah, I think we do need an element. This red invitation. We will speak with Mr. Kill. Oh, I should have waited for the weather. There's a rain. Okay. So definitely, so we can use this to read skeleton songs, or we can use it to get the deserted well. Let's see. Okay. Resurgences and emergences. The base level crafting stuff on that can be used for beguiling melody, which is kind of nice. That's potentially we need 5 Grail to be able to do that. I don't really have. It's not like an necessarily like an on-demand way to generate that, because we probably need a 2 Grail memory to do it. So still, I think I do want the moth skill if we're planning to fix our core here. The other thing is we're a little... Well, we haven't committed necessarily to keying this in right away. I've just written the invitations. We don't have to do that right now. Because the other thing I'm thinking is maybe we can do both. Well, I can't use the rain for both reading the book and for unlocking the well. I think the well can wait, because we're a little limited on our elements of the soul right now anyway, just because we haven't committed anything to the tree yet. So I think I will use this to read skeleton songs. And we won't need the knife for the winter aspect. So yeah, this makes sense to me. I'll go ahead and read the full thing at once when we mastered it. And I will speak with Mr. Kill about the memory of regret, and we will refresh our list here. And then I think we'll just go ahead. Cataloging. Well, can wait on that. And in that case, I can go ahead and invite Father Stanislav. Come on by. We'll use one cycle here to generate memory. Father Stanislav John Schaller. Priest, diplomat, gardener, a soft-voiced man with a very steady gaze. After I wrap up this day, I'm probably gonna step away for a few minutes to take a little break. But go ahead and finish up this day at least. Talk with Mr. Kill about using my whist, and we can go ahead and cycle through a health just to work. Yeah, I think I want to prioritize fixing this, because there's definitely uses for melodied elements, but this early in the game I would rather just have the core back to work with. Just for general flexibility and for, you know, not... Like, we could be using it to catalog books, but we were risking further contaminations, and I don't think I have anything that's very close at all to being able to hear those, so I don't know. Okay, so memory gossip 2. It's not something we can carry over, so I think I want to talk with Mr. Kill again, see if we can find a more useful memory for us. And then we'll start the language lesson. I think those take, I want to say maybe like 2 to 3 minutes. I want to do it earlier than later so we're not occupying our talk verb at the beginning of tomorrow. Okay, we have the skeleton songs. Poems of greedy delight composed by the possibly pseudonymous Arabella Dusk, the rumored heiress turned madam turned poetess. In Arabella's introduction, she explains that the book was to be illustrated, but that the Suppression Bureau would not permit it. She hints that the illustrations still exist somewhere. The book is dedicated to Sir Parcival of the Red Cup. The 26 delightful fruits, the 7 chastisements, the 9 gardens, the 4 regrets. That gives us a beguiling melody, so yeah, we don't need to worry about being able to generate that off skills. We can just reread this book. Two Grail, 2 Sky. And I totally... We read that other book and I totally forgot what it generated. I think it was a hindsight. We read on the way. It was either a hindsight or a foresight. Okay, let's just go reread. So, yeah, it was either... it might have been a regret. It wasn't a foresight, I don't think. I think it was one of the 2 winter memories, so yeah, I think it was like one of these 2. I just forget which one it was. So when we need a 2 winter memory, we'll maybe just reread this to generate it, and then we'll find out what it was for sure. Okay. Got a memory here. Here we can carry over. Learn the resurgences and emergences. And go ahead and unlock the... Do the Gloomy Stare or the Despoiled Laboratory. I think I'll just keep going up the stairs. This has long been a holy place, but the Madrigad has withdrawn her favor now, and a chillness waits here where dawn will not touch it. Only once it is pacified can I safely pass. Now, I'm trying to think if we have enough time. I don't think there's a good way for me to make use of this beguiling melody today would be a minute to refresh the core, bring in Mrs. Kill. She starts at 2. Actually, okay. I think we can. I'll refresh this core. I'll hold the health and we'll just work with it after that core is refreshed. Yeah, we can always extend him by having him stay in a guest bed. Another leaf on the Tree of Wisdoms. Resurgences and emergences. Birth and death are only directions. Between the two, we find a crossroads. Preservation and Bosque. Mothhunt Grail. It's effective against infestations. Not terribly useful for that one. And did we have anything against corruptions yet? No. Okay. So, bring in Mrs. Kill, use the beguiling memory or melody, and tool. She should be at 5. And we'll work with the health. Unlocked the Glorious Stair. Each stair tread is decorated with a quotation from the Book of Sons, so that the congregation might be edified as they ascend. The quotes are worn to half legibility by the passage of all those worshipful feet, which may be why some of these quotations differ troublingly from any orthodox version. It has, of course, been claimed that the Sisterhood of the Knot, who first held the Isle, also held a copy of the long-suppressed Shuritic version of the book. We have the Shrine of the Madrigad. The Madrigad is the hour which cannot be unbalanced, which quells and quiets, which comes before the sun. Aspects of sky, winter, and forge. And there's a snowflake candle in here. The wind-prowled galley is kind of the next target. 8 forge, 8 lantern, or 8 sky. Get Reverend Timothy to 3 with element, 5 with a 5 with a memory, 6 with a tool, 7 with drink. Potentially more. I mean, we can definitely just do 8 with like one of the candles. Yeah, so that'll work. That is assuming a 2-lantern memory. Okay. We're going for the neglected room as well. Okay. Mrs. Kill. Alt with a memory. I can discuss her memory with my assistant. And I think lastly, we'll just go ahead and catalog another book with her interest. Memories don't often last as long outside books, but it's made a difference for the day. And give her not the kitchen bowls, the kitchen knife, bronze knife. Gets her to 5 grail, enough for the neglected room. The Humors of a Gentleman. It has a 5th eye curse. Force guy. 5th eye curse would affect Fett and Faust. Put that over here with all the other cursed shit. Room now. The room above might once have been some sort of lounge, but the furniture and equipment has been smashed and overturned. The walls are streaked with mildew, and an unlovely smell wafts from further up. Speed this up a little bit. Carry the memory fear over. I don't have a precise plan for that yet, but we'll maybe find something. And we've unlocked the Patient's Lounge. In this room, the accursed of the Great War gathered to recuperate. Those who had suffered something no more horrible but somewhat more mysterious than the war's usual wounds to body and spirit. And Eruption of worms, perhaps, or the risks at the military end of Suppression Bureau activities. Among them were minor luminaries of the invisible world: Christopher Illopoli, Zachary Wakefield, Harvey Haddington, but not Brian Levinson, who had been ninth librarian and under whose tenure the infirmary had flourished. He enlisted. He served for a time as a medical officer on the Western Front. His body was never found. I've got an uncatalogued book. I've got a lacquered bone chess set, Born of Battles. Got a cup of second flushes. A bit of that. And you got a projector. Governor Collars had this installed in the 20s as a treat for prisoners allowed to recover in the infirmary. Or so he said. Rumor had it he was a secret Keaton fan and didn't want to motor all the way up to Exeter to see the latest feature. Move some of these T's down here. And then the next room is 5 heart or 5 moth. Pretty doable with Mrs. Kill. I guess we'll maybe hold off unlocking rooms today because I do want to get this taken care of. The Fusine tutoring. My visitor can teach me the rudiments of this dry language. So that's going to take 3 minutes, so we'll figure out stuff to do, perhaps. I mean, room unlock would still be doable. Let's look at the weather real quick. It's rain. Okay. To think about that one. Could potentially use that for the deserted well. Or perhaps one of these. Maybe like the wall garden or something. Yeah, I'll have a think on that. I am going to take a short break. I need to use the restroom, refill my water and stuff, so maybe about, call it 5 or 10 minutes. I'm gonna put up a be right back screen, and also, if you don't mind, I'm going to run an advertisement once I step away. I appreciate everyone tuning in, and I'd appreciate if you stuck around. If not, I understand, and I will be back shortly. take a look. Okay. So we're learning. We've seen, and I think we can unlock the Motley Tower if we want. What are we doing with the rain? The rain, yeah, so I was also thinking we could get into the well. So if we want to do that, we would hire an orchard keeper. So 2 from orchard keeper, 2 from the rain. Health makes it 5. The knife makes 7. Okay, yeah, I think that'll be the plan then. So let's get that going. That works, yeah. And then probably read an introduction to histories as well. We can do this with we can use our whist for this with one of our skills. So we'll do that as well. We have the Crossing to Noon on offer from Oriflamme's. Oriflamme's. Established 1776. Sense, Science, Sciences. Dear Librarian, we would like to offer you this opportunity to purchase into Noon. Can try for that. I guess, or I don't think it's actually like, I think it just cost 2, right? In Cultist Simulator, there's a chance to actually, like, get into bidding war on certain books at Oriflamme's, but I think in this game, it's just, they'll just offer it for a price. I think once a season. I think that's worth doing. I don't have any other use for the Spintria right now. Because we're gonna wait until we find a use for this scrap first before recording Zachary's address in the writing case. And I guess I can look at my notes real quick to see what's needed to invite Zachary once we've recorded his address. Wakefield, 3 winter, definitely easily doable, and he'll teach us Kilsimi. So that is worth doing, but I think we can wait a season on that. Help another visitor and get more Spintria that way. So And I mean, we have plenty of stuff to do for a season, the remainder of autumn anyway. So, yeah, let's go ahead and buy the Crossing to Noon. Can't read it right now, it's an 8 moon mystery, but I don't mind taking the opportunity to grab a new book when it's offered. Okay, we've got assistance from an orchard keeper. In autumn, the orchard keepers come to sell their wares at Brancroot. A shilling will buy one's help. In Cornwall, it is quite possible to take a stride from the richest vegetation into the abomination of desolation. It has been said in mockery that Cornwall does not grow wood enough to make coffins for the people. Sabine Baron Gould. And then we need our health, so we can use the core to get a little bit more funding, and yeah, let that run for a minute. Our other elements, I guess our tryst, just keep cataloging books with that for now. Just cycle the core through the sweet bones again. Cataloged A Tower Rises. Phonograph is packaged in glossy card, the bright pink of a dog nose, with the words "A Tower Rises" in 9 languages on both sides. There is no other identifying information at all. In VAC, and it is 18 rows. And it's going to be quite a ways off. Okay, we've got an introduction to histories. The 17th century mystic and antiquarian Claude Hersault describes divergent incidents in 5 major histories. Prologue warns at length of the iniquities of one Julian Cosley, a former colleague who Hersault now describes darkly as a worm of worms. It seems Cosley advised Hersault early in the writing of the book, but Hersault later became suspicious. Hersault identifies blood, silver, design, and the worms as the central axes of each of the histories, and claims that the so-called second history is the true one. This gives us snow stories and memory hindsight. On the hindsight shelf. And go ahead and learn snow stories. Do some more manual labor. Snow stories. It's another 2 winter, 1 moon skill. Got a lot of those so far. Can be committed to birdsong and hushery. And we now have Fusine. I've learned enough to puzzle out books in this language, though it might be slow going. Fusine. A people lived east of the lost lake Fusino. Horus warned that theirs was the land of witches. This was their language, called by some the Dry Tongue, and by others the Tongue of Witches. So we now have Fusine and Crack Track. Let's take a look at the tree. This can go in Hushery or Ithistry. Hushery would give us another Whist. In Ithistry it would give us a Whist. In Hushery it would give us a Tryst. Neither of those. I mean, we already have both of those. Another Wisp wouldn't be too bad. And then just remind myself, Crack Track give us potentially a Faust or a Core. Definitely tempted by the Faust. I think I'll wait a little longer till we have a couple more options for languages. I don't have a prescriptive pattern that I always stick to in terms of committing languages for that first tier. So I would like to give myself a couple more options there, but the Faust is definitely tempting, so we may do that sooner than later. And I'll just have to keep that in mind as far as we potentially having access to a Faust if we want it for reading a book or unlocking a room. And we've purchased the Crossing to Noon. This in here somewhere. Okay. Yeah. Oh shoot. I think we still have time. Should have about a little under 3 minutes left in the day, so we'll talk to the Orchard Keeper about the weather. And we should have time to cycle this through one more time. Yeah, I mean, the Fost would get us into the Windproud Gallery a little bit easier. It's definitely worth thinking about. I'll probably carry over the hindsight over the fear, because we definitely have like at least this one winter room. And then finally we'll give the Orchard Keeper the bronze knife, getting them to 7 nectar. Probably not going to stream too much longer, maybe another in-game day or two. Alright. This gets us... What's the requirements on the pantry? Pantry's also 7 heart, 7 nectar. The heart there's definitely be doable with Mrs. Kill, I think. So yeah, I'll just prioritize the well here. The well is choked and filthy. It'll need to be purified inside and out. Dream on a memory. Now that night has fallen, I can rest and perhaps dream on the day's doings. Okay. The well. There's been a well here since the days of the sisterhood, and superstitions have gathered around it like leaves and drifts. Its water has a healing virtue if drawn on a night of the new moon. It's ill luck to draw from it if you hear an owl. If you drip the blood of a living enemy into the well, they'll drown, and so on. Certainly when Numa comes, the mist lies thick here. Hush House Well. Here I can drop water or drop something in, most likely to be lost forever. And it's next to the Creeper Crowded Descent. And an overgrown kitchen garden. So I think the plan is to continue up the Motley Tower. We'll wait for the weather. Hail. It's 3 edge, 3 sky. I guess this gets so we can read Horus Book 2. So we can use this with any soul and then knife. Kinda like that. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll read Horus Book 2. And then bring in Mrs. Kill. Mrs. Kill stands ready to help. You always cheer me up, she says morosely. And I think I also want to bring in Mr. Kill and make use of that hindsight. As for getting the 5 heart that we need, if we refresh our core, that gets us to 3. And then we need either a memory or I guess we could use water plus plus the kitchen bowls. Either way, I think we'll have some spare cycles so we can talk with her, see if we can generate memory that we need. And I will refresh them as well. And then I think we're not necessarily doing anything useful with our health, so we'll start kind of stockpiling water, because we can also do sort of these work cycles where we're drawing water and then using it to refresh an element in bed. Memory intuition. Let's generate another one. We'll also bring back the list here. Memory foresight. Let's talk with her about the core. I think, okay, so that's 30 seconds off. It'd be another minute for water plus the bowls, and then be about a minute for getting Mr. Kill up to 6. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and route a glass of water. Just 5, right? Yeah, okay. Nice drop. I can offer my assistant something to drink. Oh, I got the key. That's good. Hush house key, heavy enough that it takes both hands to turn. Heavy enough to brain someone too, though you'd need both hands for that too. That in here, I forget exactly what. This gives us some. Use that to get some kind of memory. Or recall exactly what. We'll figure that out soon enough. And in fact, let's go ahead and we'll take a quick nap in a warm bed with something comforting to drink, while the winds chase the clouds and the clouds chase the sun. Restore the ore here. Okay. De Horace Book 2, in Latin. A 19th century reprint by the indefatigable Nathaniel Darcy Evers of a 4th century or 14th century Latin translation of a 4th century work. This volume deals mostly with the hour called Lionsmith, the hour called the Tribune of Scars, and with their enmity. The Lionsmith makes monsters to defeat the Tribune, but the scars of the Tribune are each a weapon. Gives us lesson disciplines of the hammer and foresight. It's 2 forge, 1 lantern. Foresight shelf. And waiting on this. There's our whist back. Let's bring back our health. A nice drop down to the aggressions. And so finally we will give her the kitchen bowls to work with. I can lend my assistant something to help increasing their abilities. Got her up to 5 heart now. We can start working with Mr. Kill and a Whist. And we can start her unlocking the Motley Tower first floor. The door jams half open, but the room above is a bright oasis after the dreary neglect of the lower tower. The previous occupant has probably left some sort of protections in place. I'll find somebody suitably qualified to deal with them. Go ahead and learn the disciplines of the hammer. And if nothing else, we can carry over the memory foresight. I'll just cycle the health through, I think. Mr. Kill without that memory. Another leaf on the Tree of Wisdoms. Disciplines of the hammer. To purify and to combine the selves and the essences. The hammer shapes gates and shatters doors within us and without. Be committed to illumination and nyctodromy, and is a 2-edge, 1-forge skill. I want to make more progress on cataloging books, but I also want to remember what the key gives us. I don't remember exactly, so we'll investigate that. The Motley Tower, Elapli's Nook. Christopher Elapli, poet, painter, archivist, runer of seances, stayed on for a while at Hush House after the Great War. The librarian, Serena Blackwood, arranged rooms for Elapli in the Motley Tower ostensibly so he could help with the collection, but perhaps also because she saw a potential ally against the governor of the Cucurbit. Relations between the Cucurbit and the house were badly strained at the time. We've got quite a few more books. We've got some Holiest Hemolymph. It's a liquid with some decent aspects. There's Blake claimed that she first synthesized this from her own tears. She was almost certainly lying. Got a Twilight Pot, a stylized bat grimaces gleefully on its surface. We have some Perhibiate, which binds to the one whose name is there written, a minor ink of power. An Urn of Ashes, some poor soul who probably won't mind if they're repurposed for a worthy experiment. I probably wouldn't. A Lotus vase. Red glazed. Chinoiseri vase. Vase of rushes, a subtle ornament. A russet couch, a utilitarian item, arms varnished, upholstery shiny with hard use. Barber's chair. No one emerges unchanged from a barber's chair. Perhaps they'll just be a little bit more beautiful. We've got a bust of Fraser Strathcoyne. This bust is shaped from beeswax. Careful with it. Elegant starburst lamp. A number of paintings. Sedona, not yet. One of Dr. Levinson's prefigures, an impossible copy of a painting that the real artist hadn't yet executed. He signed it with the illumination mark and dated it 1958. To hear those voices. A Levinson prefigure, a copy of a painting that would not be committed to canvas by the real artist for 20 years. Again at night. One of Dr. Levinson's prefigures, a close and impossible copy of a painting made 20 years later by Kirchner, whose work Levinson often anticipated in his mirror dreams. To be fruitful. It's a decent copy of a Picasso, painted 20 years before Picasso painted the original. Brian Levinson up to his tricks again. Red-blue. It's a same description. And love in a quiet place. Same description as the other Kirchner. Okay, and some books to catalog. And then the next room will take 6 heart, so we will probably need a memory for that. And read the description when we go to unlock it. Let's go ahead and see if we can generate useful memories from Mr. Kill. I think where I want to start storing inks and such. You know what, we'll just leave it up here for now. Really, I'll just put it on the desk here. Okay. Scrutiny. Serena Blackwood herself forged this key. I'm tired of losing it, she said. Okay, this gives us a memory sound, which is a 1 heart memory. So I suppose we could use that with water, and tool gets us to 6 with Mrs. Kill. I never actually recorded this one in my notes, so I'm just going to do that real quick. So, in absence of other options, that gives us a solid way to progress to the next room without having to rely on like random memory generation. That's even better though. Memory storm. Okay. We'll carry that one over then. Saves us a cup of water, which isn't a big deal now that we have the well, but it's still something. And thinking about it, might even want to save that further, because this has been increasing in aspects going up to the top room. I don't remember, if this one continues the pattern. But if it needs 7, then having a 2 heart memory on hand might be good. That said though, let's go ahead and unlock the Despoiled Laboratory. This was an alchemist's workshop and a picture gallery, but the pictures have been flung down, the vessels overturned, the solvents and reagents spilt. It will be time-consuming and dangerous to repair. So we'll save the Memory of the Storm overnight. Bring in Mrs. Kill. We'll use a glass of water. Which we may actually be out of right now. We pulled the key instead of a pitcher of water up. So, in that case, I mean, we could use another consumable like the Schloss Jannings, for example. Or we could wait on pulling some water up. I think I'll probably just wait on the water. Don't forget to do this. Carry the Memory of the Storm over. Okay. This is the Flood Gallery. Thurza Blake, 7th librarian of the house, extended this space, decorating it with semi-precious materials and filling it with the finest art Hush House's money could buy. Of course, after her enthusiasms brought the house to the brink of penury, much of it had to be sold off. We have a bust of Ava DeWolf. Haven't seen the bust of Thurza yet, yeah. But Ava is pretty easy to figure out. This is the crystal called Scolasite. The wormstone, polished to chill smoothness. She is the only baroness. A niche with a plaque, not to be crossed and not to be found. We've got some Stargull ink, more books, some Armagnac yeast. Armagnac can only come from Gascony, but if you believe M. Corentin, his vineyard began with vine cuttings from yeast beyond the sea. Stargull ink, an ink traditionally but only rarely made from meteoric iron, a minor ink of power. Some paintings, the Foundlings, a pair of human eyes peer from darkness in a tangle of roots. A sacrifice, a silent crowd watches a robed priest drown a struggling victim in a bowl of rainbowed oil. Leaves in the wind, a soothing but undistinguished work in oil. Someone evidently was good at trees and wanted you to know it. The boy prays. There is no sign of a boy in this distorted, menacing image, and no one seems to be praying. Lord Monday. A well-dressed, middle-aged gentleman with receding hair and a clear expression of astonished delight. Dr. Serena Blackwood. No one is in the picture, only an empty garden. As above, so below. A framed page of illustrated vellum. Up close, the colors dazzle and puzzle. Glory's gift. A human figure is silhouetted against a blazing sun. Rocross sands at high tide. A gloomy study of the sea in gloomy weather. Departure. Here, Valentine has painted gulls migrating across a darkening sea. And a portrait of a behatted lady. The more prominent the headgear, the closer to the glory. Lady Tryphon, a very old portrait in the Byzantine style. And another copy of Leaves in the Wind. Of alchemist glassware, fragile vessels in which new substances are quickened. More books, some sacrament acite. Back in the Dawn period, the Sisterhood of the Triple Knot used this in the rites of the Horned Axe. Sacrament calcite. Back in the Dawn period, the Sisterhood of the Triple Knot used this in the rites of the Red Grail. Glassfinger toxin. What is within, without? What is without, within? A poison sacred to the votaries of the Menisket. Sacrament malachite. Back in the Dawn period, the Sisterhood of the Triple Knot used this in rites of the Ring U, the Hour, which has also been called the malachite. Another ruby rise rune. Some xanthotic essence. The rich gold of a summer afternoon. If sunlight precedes moonlight, St. Anselm observed, the Menisket must precede the madrigad, and the light that was lost will remain. A wolf snow ampule. Far too cold ever to melt in anything but the hottest noonday sun. It will very gradually consume human flesh. Some more pure inculate. A serpent-styled glass. Carved snakes ride down the frame. A prominent inscription reads, "To the library Gervinus in earnest of our wager." This is our first scale tool, I believe. Turpentine, an odorous eraser of errors. A quartz chunk. Ice rock winking light. Solomon's preparation. Solomon Husher would take this every night without fail before sleep to close his ears to the sound of the waves. But on the 9th of January 1838, a heavy snow fell on Hush House. When the other residents dug themselves out, Husher was nowhere to be found. He had left a resignation letter and an undrunk measure of his preparation. And an ambergris chunk. Never, never, never call it whale vomit. So a melodic chair, someone appears to have tuned the squeaks. And a lumpy melodic chair. The inks tend to collect on these little nightstands. Or arm tables, arm tables. And we'll move the liquor down to the kitchen. The scales I don't have a great place for it yet. Or the serpent style glass. I'll just leave it back on the shelf there. Okay. Oh, let's try to get through another day or two. I would like to get to the top of the Motley Tower if I can. We've got our memory storm coming back with us. Let's see the weather first. It's sunny. I might just use that to read the journal of Thomas DeWolf. Here's our whist here. And we'll bring in Mrs. Kill. And start pulling up some water as well. Definitely give her big bowls, but if we're waiting on water, gives us at least a minute. We can try to see if we can get another memory that we don't have to inspect the key for. And then we'll refresh the core. So yeah, we're aiming for 6 heart. Just to go over it one more time, the core gives us 3, tool gives us 4. Water gives us 5, and any heart memory gets us to 6. So yeah, let's go with her. Okay, that works for me. So we have the memory satisfaction. Some appetites are easier to satisfy than others. We'll talk with her about that. And this frees us up to use the tryst for something else if we want to. So I think that'll just be cataloging since we got a number of uncatalogued books laying around now. Drop some water. We'll use one of the glasses to bring back the health. Speak with Mrs. Kill about the core. Cataloged the Admonitory Automata Project. Footage of experimental devices under development in the Kukurbit under Governor Collars' supervision. Tenforge, it is a reel of film. Place that here. Go ahead and make use of the sweet bones to bring back the tryst. We can catalog another book. So we've read Journal of Thomas de Wolf. Thomas de Wolf, 2nd Baron Brandkrug, was nicknamed Baron Silence of Castle Silence for his taciturn severity, most likely the origin, eventually, of the name Hush House. There are very few personal details here. Thomas, a talented astronomer and oronoscopist, dispassionately details his observations and the building of the observatory atop the Watchman's Tower. As he records the passing of the Great Comet in 1577, the tone finally becomes more animated but also more obscure. Thomas cites his dawn period namesake, Abbot Thomas, as an authority on wind, moon, and shell in the heavens inferior. He observes, "My predecessor knew this truth. 3 blossoms hath the watchman's tree, paper, ink, and flame. The great comet, I now aver, is that flame." This gives us a memory salt and oronoscopy. Salt is a 1 knock, 1 moon, 1 winter memory. Sea spray, depth sorrow. One of these shelves. Knock Moon Winter. Yeah. We'll go ahead and learn Aronoscopy. Aronoscopy. Let's go ahead and use our... We're bringing back Trist already, so... I'm thinking with the Whist, we can just cycle that through the Sweet Bones for some monies. So we're continuing to kind of burn through it a bit. We have the Midwife's Existence. So can tool big bowls, kitchen bowls, cake time, and the water get her to 6. Another leaf on the Tree of Wisdoms. Horoscopy. Consider the star, hath each star its 7 names. Observe that these names are never shared. Thomas DeWolf. 2 sky, 1 moon, or Macastry and Hushry. We haven't seen the bust of Thomas DeWolf yet. Yeah. Give Mrs. Kill some water. There's our Trist restored. Cycle the list through. And we'll catalog another book of our Trist, I think. Okay. Minutes left. Let's just use the health to drop some more water. Okay. She's now at 6. Let's just go ahead and get into the second floor. The Motley Tower. A nasty theoplasmic miasma hangs around the room above. It's no longer strong, but it'll take years to dissipate to the point of safety. With the right help, I can raise counter-influences. Traveling at Night, Volume 3. The Annotated Dream Journals of Christopher Ilopley, sometimes called the only readable occultist, literate, entertaining, bewildering. Only 4 knock, so we have all 3 volumes of Traveling at Night now. And those would be good to prioritize reading. Maybe not the second one as much, but if we can Actually, do we have... We have 2 knock from a scrap. We don't have any from skills. I don't think we can use a language without necessarily, or like without needing one. I don't think. Maybe. But we'll need a knock desk, so probably want to prioritize these 2 rooms here at some point, but continuing up the tower is the main goal for at least the rest of this session. Letters. That'll be about it for this day. We'll carry the Memory of Storm over again, most likely. See what the last room requires. Alright, we got the Motley Tower Dispensary. This room may originally have served as a working dispensary, but some at least of its more eccentric fittings were added by Christopher Alopli in his time here. By that point, he had severed ties with his adoptive father. He'd been using the Alopli name for years and had no access to the Strathcoin fortune, but traveling at night had sold surprisingly well, much better than his poetry, and he had a little money of his own by then, enough to indulge his preferences. Yeah, I forgot about this. There's some description, so Alopli, it's the son or adopted son of Strathcoin, I think. Is that seems to ring true with me? I can't remember for certain though. Got a brazen clock. It's not immediately apparent that this clock lacks hands, although when wound it dutifully ticks. Got a whole bunch of various consumables in here. I don't think I'm going to go through and read all of them right now, but I will try to remember to do that on the next session. I am feeling like I need to wrap up here pretty soon, but I do want to try to get into this last room. So it is another 6 heart room, so that's good. We can do that just off of we don't have to use water to do that. So, but we'll do that on the next day. And then, yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up once we've gotten through that day. Another pitcher of water. There is dusk, so let's go ahead and carry the Memory of the Storm over. Money. And yeah, we'll bring in Mrs. Kill, restore the core. Use the memory in the bowls. And then probably just use the rest of our elements to catalog some books. Maybe drop some water. I suppose we should see the weather first. What is it? A gale. 3 heart, 3 sky. One thing I can do here. Let's check what quenching some coins gives. Right, Regensburg Balm. And I don't think we have... I guess we can check what the sky aspect would give us. Or, no, it's not sky, it's winter. The winter on that one is Eigengrau. Okay. That could be useful. Might be worth leveling that at some point. Okay, let's focus, stick to the plan. Although, yeah, I would want to find a potential use for that gale. But we'll bring in Mrs. Kill. Let's think 3 sky, 3 heart. Can we read this? Yeah, that's a good use for it. And read Traveling at Night, Volume 2. Guy stories and relay. It's the Whist. Okay, yeah, so we'll read Traveling at Night, Volume 2. And bring in Mrs. Kill. Speak with her about the memory of the storm and refresh our core. And I'm gonna hold on to my health for until we unlock that room. Actually, I think we have to decamp here first. So let's do that. It means we can't cycle through the drying up water, refreshing thing this cycle, but I do want to get into that other bed, because I think we have to occupy the bed to cure maladies, yeah. Okay. Give her the kitchen bowls. I don't know that I'll be able to, that I'll have enough time in the day to camp and cure the core, but we'll see. What I'll do here is refresh the health. Shock to miskill for core, and that should give us the 6 that we need. Or the Motley floor, 3rd tower, or Motley Tower, 3rd floor. Okay, and I think we'll just go straight ahead and do that. The theoplasmic miasma that hung around the room below is a little stronger here and a little different, with a rotten, musky scent that suggests a decaying reptile house. Perhaps something layered here after the inhabitants departed. Perhaps the inhabitants dreamed unwisely. In any case, the right counter-influences will dispel it. And I'll hold my tryst just in case it looks like there is going to be a way for us to restore that core today. We got Traveling at Night Volume 2. The annotated dream journals of Christopher Lockley, sometimes called the only readable occultist. Literate, entertaining, bewildering. There is an extensive discussion of the comparisons between Eloply's own dreams and those of Emperor Elagabalus, who Eloply regards as a dupe or avatar of the sun in rags. The white is west of the world, Eloply remarks, and winter does not wait forever. Elagabalus found his way to the white door at last, thankfully. Speech can't pass the white door, and honestly, Elagabalus never had anything very interesting to say. I tried to follow in his footsteps, but I never learnt enough of the white. I suppose I'm thankful for that too, but here's what I do know. A very familiar text from my most recent playthrough of Cultist Simulator. The text on the book is pretty the same, I think. This gives us some memory solace, 2 heart, 1 sky, peace after trouble, and sights and sensations. We will go ahead and learn sights and sensations, and catalog this in our little memory area. All this I'll just put up here now. 2 heart, 1 sky. Yeah. Okay. guess the solace we can maybe carry over. I forget the aspects on that bed up there. Bring back our whist. Just in case we need it. No, I realized I was hiding the sleeping cat. Sights and sensations. To mix the rarest colors, a merciless detachment is required. Fishery and Nyctodromy, 2 sky, 1 winter. Not the most useful in terms of extending or expanding what aspects we have access to skill-wise, but that's okay. Motley Tower, Regensburg Room. The physician Natan lived here in the 15th century, and his family after that, tolerated by the monks, until King Henry dissolved the foundation and granted the isle to Hendrik. Hendrik turfed them out of the tower and furnished the place more to his own taste. But when Christopher Alapoli moved in 400 years later, he restored what he could. Alapoli wrote at the time of his sympathy as a rootless founding for the outcast Natan. I don't know what I am, but I don't think I'm English. Some stuff in here. We've got a new desk. It's a knock desk, so that's nice. That might allow us to read those other 2 volumes of Traveling at Night. It's an apothecary's desk, alright, but it dates from at least 100 years after Natan of Regensburg came here. Of course, his son, his grandson, and his great-grandson were all Natans, too. And we got our guest bed, Motley. An exile slept here long ago. So yeah, we would need moth to occupy. Okay. So that will use our tryst, and I think it takes a minute 30. A minute 30 might get us to the 2-minute window. Yeah, I mean, we can probably try to recover this tonight then. Actually, so 2-minute, it would take a minute to refresh. Yeah, it might carry us over into the next day, but we can get it started. I can't remember exactly how long it takes to recover a melody. So if we have a minute, we can work at the sweet bones potentially. So let's just do that with our health, and then with our whist. Gonna catalog, I think. Where am I getting the last aspect from? Oh, I guess just the scrap, and then we can use any restorative, like a glass of water. I think that works. Yeah, that'll work. Let's put this cat wink over here. Of the locksmith stream, stolen reflections. So that's definitely readable. Actually, wait, yeah, force guy. Yeah, it should be. Lots of weather will give us 2 sky. Okay, so we're past the 2-minute. Yeah, I think I still want to try to go for this. Just, it'll be a nice, nice way to wrap up this session, I think. So, our core is Duendratic. Duendracy is a kind of distraction, or of inspiration, or of possession. In the wind, in the sea, in the crackle of flames, there's a music only I can hear, and when I give it too much attention, the world grows red as a rose. Something has snared or sickened my soul. Cured with 5 moth aspect. We picked that up very early on, just cataloging. I think it was probably one of the pink books, baronial period books, which don't often have corruptions or infections, but sometimes they do. We just kind of got a little unlucky with that. And again, like having an element be melodied isn't the worst thing, but I think like it's especially I would rather just have access to the normal element this early on when I haven't committed a whole lot to the tree, in fact nothing yet, and I think I can make better use of it just as an unmelodied element. As we move later into the game, there's definitely uses for melodied elements, as they cannot become exhausted, so they're good for like generating memories from rereading books, for example. And then potentially like useful for crafting stuff. They can be, anyway. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this cured. Water, scrap, and our resurgences and emergences gets us to 6 moth. And again, I don't mind burning the scrap here because writing down Zachary's address will get us another one. And I'd like to be a little sparing with them until we find the newspaper at some point. But cure my malady. Okay, so that will take 3 minutes, so it will go into the next day, but I think that's fine. A nice little bookend on where we started this playthrough, and this session we did quite a bit in terms of unlocking stuff. We made progress up into this portion of the house, and particularly up to that bed, the Natan bed. With that, I think that's gonna wrap it up for me for tonight. I will hopefully be around tomorrow to continue this playthrough. Probably sometime in the afternoon, my time, which is Pacific time. I don't want to commit necessarily to an exact time right now as far as scheduling goes, just because I'm still getting my bearings and still trying to make this a habit, which there's some argument for committing to a time and trying to stick to it, but right now I'm just trying to get in the habit of doing it multiple days in a row. Anyway, if you're still here, thanks for watching, and thanks for the chatting earlier. And if you'd like to watch more, please consider hitting the follow button on here or on YouTube. It would help out a lot and mean a lot to me. Anyway, rambling a bit too much now, so I'll just say thank you again, and have a good day or evening wherever you are.